Carol and I, we had to make the decision. We had to accept the fact that people wouldn't understand the position that we were taking. What's the position that we took? We took the position that we're here to serve them as unto the Lord, even with all their flaws and their failures. We had to accept the fact that we would suffer ridicule and affliction for taking that position, didn't we? You take a lot of hits when you take on the position that I'm going to be an intercessor. I'm looking at intercessors in the room now, so you know I'm telling the truth. When you decide you're going to intercede and take a stand, you take some hits. You take some blows. You take some criticism. We decided that we were going to be faithful. We're going to be loyal to God. That was our stand. Remember that? Said we're going to be faithful. We're going to be loyal to God, to one another, to our children, to our leaders. Now, that's where the testimony comes from. Now, out of making that decision, that in spite of what Jim Baker has done, Jimmy Swaggart has done, what my own pastor has done, we will be faithful and loyal to God, one another, our children, to our leaders. And because of that, we watched. For the 17 years that we were there, God continually met our needs. God gave us, in fact, He ended up giving us a whole new purpose in ministry. And that's part of the reason why we're here today. We didn't know that. That's what was going to happen. Part of the reason why we're here today was because of decisions that were made. God gave us a new level of love and understanding for His heart, for His church. During these next few weeks, months, and maybe even years, you're going to see a lot of hostility and hear a lot of hostility against God's leaders and against His church. And part of the reason why I'm saying this to you today is to make this, join in with us with this decision. God, we're just going to be loyal and faithful to you. We're not putting our mouth on this. But I'm just telling you now that even when you say that, watch the hostility that comes when you just say, I ain't putting my mouth on this. I'm just deciding that I'm going to live. Watch the hostility that comes. Even if they don't say nothing to you. Because I wanted you to join in with me. I was looking for somebody to join in with me. Sounds like y'all know what I'm talking about. So what I've learned about how people dealt with this in the past is how they really are dealing with it now. A lot of people are jumping on, they really are. They're jumping on the criticize the church bandwagon. Some people work to expose the falsehoods and the hypocrites. Mark my words. Many people, they're going to go out of their way now to try to expose all the falsehoods and the hypocrites in the church. Some stop attending church for fear of being deceived. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going to church nowhere. So there ain't nobody right. Here's another one. Some stop attending to hide their own sin. God, if you expose a man at that level, woo, I'm getting out of here. I don't stand a chance. So some people really, they're going to stop attending church because so they can stay hidden. I'm getting out. I just ain't going. Some will become lax in their prayer life and stop reading the word. Some start looking at what, and here's to me, this is the most serious one. Some will start looking at what others are doing and get discouraged themselves because they're going to be surprised at the responses of people who they always thought were so strong in the Lord. And they'll see them grumbling and complaining, or that they'll quit, or they'll become lax. And then you get discouraged looking at their response. Because it's like, if they're not coming anymore, if they're mad, and I always looked up to them, what's the use? Why bother? Woo! John said, no. Why bother if the strong ones are falling off? But this is why. The Lord told me to say this word to you. We'll keep our focus. I want you to do something. Hold your finger up in front of your hand. Now, first of all, I want you to look at me. Just look at me. Do you see your finger? Do you see your finger hardly? Because you're looking at me. Now look at your finger. Just look at your finger. Now, see, I blur. I'm in the background. Now, see, it depends upon what you're looking at. Now, you can choose. This is the choice that all of us have. We can choose to look at this thing that's in our face right now, focus on that, and then God's all blurred in the background. Or you can get your eyes off of the thing that's in front of you and look at God. It's not that that thing moves, but you ain't focused on that. You're not focused on that. Focusing on God doesn't remove the problem, but that ain't your focus no more. That's not my perspective. My perspective of life is not the stuff that's just in front of me. Whew, my God, I had to quote that one to myself again. My perspective on life is not just the stuff that's in front of me. He will continually be my focus. He will continually be my focus. Thank you, Lord. Come on, just say that to yourself. The Lord shall continually be my focus.